up, everyone? Welcome back to room 442. I know it's been a while, but I am back, and I know somebody missed me so much. It is Mikey Singh. How much did you miss me when I was away?
Next question. No, of course I missed you, Sarah. Your energy, bring it back, and you were coming back at a good time for yourself. It seems like you're very happy to talk about our upcoming topic, aren't you?
Yes, because TFC played Montreal over the weekend and lost 4-3. I guess one thing that hasn't really changed is my opinion of TFC and the fact that they're still not performing to the standard that I think they should be. They were up 2-0 very early on. We saw a penalty from Bernadeschi and then a goal from Insigne, and then Montreal went on to score 4 goals, and some of them were screamers. Insigne scored a last-minute goal, 93rd minute, but, you know, it didn't make up for the terrible, you know, kind of fall apart that we saw. You were there. Tell me about it.
It was terrible, as you said. I mean, when you go up 2-0 7 minutes in, it's a blessing, but it's also, in a way, a bit of a curse, because I think after that moment, TFC takes their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. They start sitting back, maybe inviting a little bit too much pressure. And as Bob Bradley pointed out after the match, it was individual mistakes that allowed Montreal to come back into the game. One of the things he really circled was Jaden Nelson. He turned off after TFC cleared a corner. Ball gets played back in, and Kamal Miller ends up scoring the first goal, which brings life back into Montreal. You know, makes TFC perhaps a little bit unsettled. And then a few minutes later, it's a free kick for Montreal in their own half. And again, TFC switch off, and Georgi Mihailovic finds space and hits an absolute screamer, which, you know, great strike, great goal, but it's a goal that Alex Bono has to have. And it's a conversation we've had countless times on this show in particular, and it's just not good enough once again from Alex Bono. So yeah, some individual mistakes. Chris Mavinga, obviously.
Chris Mavinga was that run with Kai Kamara. Kai Kamara, it was just because we know he has the pace, which is why I was and then all of a sudden he kind of just, you know, stumbled back and just watched it all happen. Like it was miserable, and
then went down with an injury. So and then of course the fourth goal, again another breakdown. So when a game means that much and there's so much riding on the line there for Toronto FC, for them to come out and put in a performance like that after giving up a 90th minute equalizer to the LA Galaxy midweek, you're talking now about a homestand that could have easily been 6 out of 6 points, would have seen TFC in a playoff spot. Now 1 point out of 6. There's only 4 matches remaining. It's too big of a hill for Toronto FC to climb back out of. So, as Michael Bradley said after the game, it was an opportunity for TFC to take that next step, and they failed to do so. And that's, I guess, what happens when maybe the team's a little bit incomplete in some regards and the depth doesn't really show up for TFC.
Last time you and I spoke, we were talking about TFC's chances to get into the playoffs, and so now it kind of seems like it's just diminished even more, like you've just mentioned. Is it at the point now where we're kind of just closing that book and potentially looking to next season?
Yeah, I think this whole time we've had an eye on next season. There was some hope for sure that TFC, I mean, like I said, if they win both of those games, which very much was in the balance, we're talking about TFC in a playoff spot right now today. But I think that hill's a little bit too steep for them to overcome. There's a lot of things that would have to go their way. They would have to win the rest of their games, including an away game against the Philadelphia Union, who look like the best team in Major League Soccer right now. I think we're closing that book.
Finally, come over to my side and see what I've been talking about this entire season. Listen, it's tough when you get a new coach, when you get several new players, you know, putting all the pieces together. Hopefully we will see that, though, kind of all fall into place for next season, because they do have a really solid team and they have a solid coach, so they should be performing better. This was maybe the season to kind of figure it all out, throw it away in the sense, and then, you know, come back next season way better.
Yeah, there's a lot of incomplete parts to this team, a lot of money coming off the books and after the end of this year. And I think TFC have had enough time to make a fair evaluation on some of the pieces that they need moving forward. They have a good core. They have an open DP spot. They have, like you said, a pretty good foundation here moving forward. So there's reason for optimism heading into next season for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is somebody who could be looking at playoff contention in Jacob Shaffelburg, former Toronto FC man at Nashville now. We were talking a little bit off camera, and you were telling me how much of a fan favorite he already is. Tell me about how he's been doing.
Yeah, no, he is in a system that finally suits his type of profile, right? He's a pacey winger, relentless runner, and he's playing in a sort of a 4-3 with Nashville, and he's playing as a left winger. And through the first 4 games he's played with Nashville, Nashville's actually unbeaten when Jacob Shaffelburg plays. He has 2 goals, he's won a penalty, and like I said, he's already become a fan favorite. As we know in Toronto, why fans love him so much. He's just a relentless worker. He doesn't ask for anything. And he's formed a really good relationship with some of the other players on that team. Nashville are 4th place in the Western Conference. They're going to be hosting a home playoff game, and it's great to see Shaffelburg playing such a big role in this. And it's probably too late to have him included in Canada's World Cup squad because it's coming down to the wire, and there's a lot of depth there already. But he's in a good spot right now where I think he's actually making some progress in his career, and that's something he probably wouldn't have been able to do in Toronto. So
Definitely.
It's great to see him get going here.
Yeah, I think it's always good to see, like a former player of, the team you support or your city's team go and actually do well somewhere. As much as sometimes it's a bit like sour grapes, you are happy for them, and it is good that he did really settle in so quickly and seems to be doing so well, especially at a young age.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a gamble that he took, right? You're leaving a club that you've known essentially your whole professional career. You're saying, guys, I just need some playing time. Goes out, is put into an ideal system for the way he plays, excels in that system. He's earned some pretty significant praise from his teammates, his head coach, and it looks like he's excelling there in Nashville. So it seems like that gamble has, at least early on, is really paying off for Shaffelburg. So yeah, that's great to see. And TFC didn't get much for Jacob, but it was a move, as we all know, they needed to make in order to bring in Richie Larea. So maybe it's a deal that perhaps works out for both sides, which is obviously the best deals.
Yeah. And finally, we just have to talk about this with the MLS regular season slowly wrapping up as MVP. And a teammate of actually Shaffelburg is Hany Mukhtar, who is in the running for it. And Nashville took on Austin and won. And Austin has Sebastían.
Driussi, yeah.
I will never say his name properly. So they went head-to-head, basically. Mukhtar came out on top in this round, but they're going to be playing again.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite between the two? Are you leaning towards somebody right now for MVP?
No, that's a good question. And right now, I got to say it's Hany Mukhtar, which is something you probably wouldn't have said a month ago because Mukhtar was so far behind when it comes to the numbers. Nashville wasn't doing very well. I don't think he was even really consideration. But now he just overtook Driussi in the golden boot race. So he has the most goals right now in Major League Soccer. He has more goals and assists than Driussi. And Nashville got the better of his team there in Austin. Now, as you mentioned, they're going to go head-to-head on, I think, September 17th, round 2. We'll see what happens there. I know there'll be some motivation, not just for Mukhtar and Driussi, but for the teams overall to really go head-to-head there. And Nashville's a team right now they're making some noise, which is, TFC played them about a month ago. TFC beat them 4-3 in Nashville. People at that time are writing off Nashville.
Sure.
But they've been reignited. Mukhtar is the biggest reason for that. Absolutely. He just got named MLS Player of the Month. He's really had an unprecedented month in terms of his goal scoring contributions. He's a baller, and he came close to winning MVP last year. I think he finished second or third. So to see him get that appreciation right now, especially playing in a market like Nashville where you don't necessarily get a lot of eyes, it speaks volumes to kind of just how good he's been, that people are talking about him so much.
Well, there's a few weeks left, so I guess we will see how it all breaks down, and we'll keep you posted here in Room 442.